I was saying more about the update TV so. And then I'll show you made now subscribe. You say Mahama ran an election, or say international communities like United Nations or Mama up Akwa Mahama fee and send Ben on Kokai and send Ben Titri Panum the call Mahama fee. One congratulations must say Oman Penwaya there and Wama election so peaceful now or congratulations. Or I surely say or many the Ghana and his government or so. I'm over through the needed support no omo de ama John Dramani Mahama no they do or they book or mine no money te abusua de nyina say United Nations or delegates and as executives no or mama up to Mahama residence and akonya meeting and say assurance or the man say omo ebeboa no na say o my dem Omabuana amana bibia in terms of so be prosecute this government or officials for a year loot and share and yema omawia and yema oma hode sika nya de ade or be assisting bibia mu dia and then say or boano amomo I investigate ekufuado and then the officials and me sure yenko tie abra omo ko Mahama fi nsem omo de koy.
So our real purpose here is quite simple and simple. It is to congratulate you personally on this victory as the now President-elect for Ghana. To thank you for the way you led your party to a successful, peaceful election here in Ghana, particularly as the international community had its eyes on Ghana, to really continue to hold up the torch of Ghana, one that many of us continue to be very proud of on the continent, as a beacon of democracy, defender of democracy, and defender of transparency. Your Excellency, your ascension to office also brings new records. The first female vice president ever to Ghana. And we know that last time you attempted this, so congratulations on that success. And also I think the fact that although there were lots of pessimistic views about how women's representation would be, that we're actually seeing an uptick, slight uptick in that for the coming period. We have had the opportunity to see the 120-day plan that you have, and you had identified with a lot of the content in there. And through our cooperation framework, we definitely will find ways to work on this. We are proposing in January to provide a very high-level briefing priority document to yourself and your cabinet, as well as detailed priorities to all the ministers once you appoint these, to enable you to guide that process, both in terms of longer-term issues, as well as more immediate things that need to be addressed. And to assure you that the United Nations stands fully with you and fully with Ghana through your presidency that is just about to unfold, and assure you of our greatest collaboration. I thank you. Thank you very much.
To congratulate us, I really appreciate it. Ghana has had long-standing relations with all your agencies, and having been president before, I know the kind of work we did together. We need you more than ever before because of the crisis this country is going through. And I've had the opportunity to meet some of you, even during the campaign and before the election. And I've expressed, how I want us to work even closer together to see how we can put Ghana back on its feet. Of course, we all know that Ghana is very important in the geopolitics of West Africa and Africa in terms of upholding democracy and being a model, of peace and security. And it's something that we want to restore as quickly as possible. And so we look forward to working with you, looking at the existing programs. And we need to tweak them to meet the realities of today to do so. I believe we've had discussions with the World Bank and the IMF already, and we look to an early engagement so that we can continue to be on the same wavelength. Of course, in the campaign, several, promises been made, and we need to look at what the reality is in terms of sitting together and seeing what the way forward is. Of course, one of our main concerns, and I think we've expressed it to you several times, is the issue of the humps in the debt repayments, and it's something we need to see how we can smooth in so that we don't default again. That would be more catastrophic than this current default. Aside from that, we know that in the last family season, the rainfall pattern was very erratic, and so we're anticipating that there's going to be some problem with availability of food, and so how we're able to kick in supports to ameliorate this situation is something that we would like to work on. With all the other agencies, UNICEF, UNHCR, and all that, we are happy to continue to engage and see how we can strengthen and even uplift the cooperation and the work that we do together. I don't kid myself that it's going to be an easy task. It's going to be quite tough, and I anticipated that we're going to win, but I didn't anticipate the margin by which we're going to win, and that is an indication, like I said yesterday, that Ghanaians have a very high expectation, and so managing that expectation and trying to work as quickly as possible to meet those expectations is something that our team has to look at. We run on the campaign of resetting the nation because we've been in this democratic space since 1992. And the time has come when we must look at some of the issues to do with our governance, our economic management and all that, the fight against corruption and all that, and see how we can lift all that to another level so that we continue to maintain the confidence and faith, especially of our youthful population. A lot of them are losing faith in the whole democratic thing because they think it's not working for them. It's not creating opportunities for them. So those are all things that we need to look at. We're happy we have our first female vice president. She's not only opened the door, but she's going to keep the door open so that others can follow in her footsteps. Happily, this last parliament has passed the affirmative action law, and so we're going to abide by it. Even in the run-up to the campaign, we made a promise that we're going to reserve 30% of appointments for women. But the affirmative action law gives benchmarks for increasing that, and so we're going to have to work to make sure that we meet those benchmarks. And so we count on your cooperation, and I'm happy about the briefing that we'll get as soon as we have the team together. I made a promise that we're going to have our cabinet meeting within 14 days of the swearing in. And so we'll know that team as early as possible. So even before they've been vetted and sworn in, we can start the engagements that are necessary so that we have a smooth transition and that we continue from there. So thank you again very much. Yes, I look forward to working with you.
Permit me, Mr. President, just to respond to one of the points that you made about alignment. Indeed, when I arrived here in 2021, we took a very strong decision that we had to align the UN cooperation framework with the governance cycles of Ghana. And so we took the unprecedented move of having a 3-year cooperation framework which ends in 2025. Yes. And the prime purpose of doing that was to ensure that as the new government comes in on January the 7th, we have a year to work with you in the National Planning Development Commission and the priorities of the government to ensure that we are aligned. So our new cooperation framework will be worked on and is already being worked on now. We're doing the review. The assessments and contextual analysis will be done through the first half of 2025, and the new cooperation framework will be written up in the second half, which means that it must be totally aligned with the government priorities of the day. So that on signature in January 2026, we are working with you and the priorities of the government of Ghana. So this is the mandate that came from the Secretary General, that our accountability must shift away from a vertical, upward-looking accountability to a more horizontal facing one that looks at the countries that we're working in and ensuring that we are delivering for them, not on top of them. So I want to assure you that, the process is already in place to ensure we will be fully aligned. Thank you again, Mr. President. I'm invoking Sankofa because I didn't introduce myself, although I know you know me, Mr. President. I am Charles Abani, the UN Resident Coordinator, overseeing 25 resident agencies and nearly another 20 who don't have offices here but come here regularly. The UN in Ghana is one of the most visited places by the UN, and the footprint of the UN is quite extensive. Our approach is we welcome every UN agency. There are none who are excluded. Just be fit for purpose for what Ghana needs to do. And I'm from Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you.
You see, all around, I'm grateful, say Ghana for the 2 million shares. It's a lesson to all of us as politicians. Captain, those days are, you say, oh, last minute now they bro, or they are more, or they oil, or the sikabe show months and no more to amount. Those days are on platform, so oh, see, if you are me, oh, see, a chum, or no medical, yes, a chum, or the formal fast year, no mammy. Ghanaians want to hear policy. But you know, when you might tell them how you're going to transform their lives. We're going to give you jobs. Mabunu au Akroma amrante ne mabawado. Ade ba ko pen o mope. Nigeria me associate more with the youth is that I understand our challenges. Every young person in this country wants to finish school, get a job, make mama proud, make dada proud, and get his family. Finish. So we are politicians now with 3,000 cars and fan. So what me money, Juba money, yeah, Emma sitting in Mugumana. Who pay a private jet and fan but miano, come deno, or the mobile money car, or the quick loan car, or be the quick credit car. Now, sorry, a bicycle 58 million. Now they are common national cathedral more to hold. Over 77 years and new trim. Catapult, more the signboard at all, more appointed CEO, Mutuanaka. Now, no intercepted bank statement of National Cathedral. It was CEO, our deputy CEO, and Mutuanaka 28,000 Ghana cedis every month. We are why. Dr. Sion was there. Obey them one time. Chinia, Sesala East. Contractor was with the mark contractor for mom here. What could create our company, a friend about what we say. And I would do 8, 1 year, and our driver, hire directors. And I'm working mobilization 30% with this scanning in our quite so money. Obey them. I was in Majide, go to Australia for Koye. You become one summer, also constituency, say, I feel the Nipa called US, who the Nipa over by after 7 December. A health minister, COVID-19 in Drew, also talk COVID-19 in Draba, who expanded from $10 to $19. They also one general, Nanado say, health minister, Bre, and Yeshe, say Yaba, obey them.
Abusua ya moko aba Eruba Daily Update TV so. Na ene na ahwe na subscribe share dwumadi no. Na ne nyina nse UN for na akoshia Mahama meka UN na executive for no. Omo akoshia Mahama. Omo koshia na nsema omo de koye ne se omo beboa no. Na ne dwumadi a oba as a president of the republic, you know. Omuwa no kwan bia so na watimi deliver ne suade hu na say ne vision and say ne agenda no iti no omo say others say all lady party no ama election no ayasum peacefully ankoye betima kam abo ma ewe na akoye asumdie so kwa so de omo UN no omo da omampeki Mahama ase na omo be assist no e wo BPM in terms of say obebu aban we no obu ni prosecution bi wo ma ni nyina so they will assist na make sure stay tuned.